And so today's title is Protect the Build. Whatever we build, we must protect. Whatever you're building in your life, you must protect. In Nehemiah, we see a remarkable example of this. Actually, as we went through chapters 8 and through chapters 10, chapter 8, they were reading the Word of God together for a long time. 6-hour service, reading the Word together, and they were convicted at the core of who they are. Eventually, they start sobbing, and they're like, no, this isn't the time to cry. We're celebrating. Then chapter 9 comes, and then they start crying. They start praying. In fact, it's known as the longest prayer in Scripture. And in chapter 9, they're praying, God, change our hearts. This is what we want to change. And then in chapter 10, we see how they actually commit to a lifestyle of change. God was moving, people were confessing, there were covenants being made, and the people were responding to God's move. But then in chapter 13, we actually read something entirely different starts taking place. Nehemiah had been away for a while. They believe it's between 10 and 12 years that he left the rebuilding of the walls. Everything was built, and he left that place for 10 years just to find out that the people had returned to the way they were before. Chapter 8, 9, and 10, amazing. We promised God. And then they return to the way things were before, the patterns of before. Whatever we build, we must protect.
Now, it is so easy for us to blame them, like they went back to their ways. I mean, how sinful. But anybody had January resolutions? They were like, what was that? Yeah, the ones that you're going to rewrite this January coming because you didn't follow through. It's like our human nature to just kind of drift away for what we plan, and we were so intentional and so committed. I mean, this is probably year 3 that we say in January we start in gyms. If anybody wants to keep us accountable,
you run through my mind all day, so I'm gymming. Okay, stop it.
Still not an excuse for not going to gym, but in our nature it is to actually drift. All those things that we put in place, that we were so committed in the natural. Saving money. Anybody say this is a year where we save money and we make financially wise decisions? September starting tomorrow, and I'm like, we have 3 months to fulfill that goal. Lord Jesus, bring on a miracle. And then Christmas come, right? And then we say we're going to go to bed early. And then the new Netflix series comes up.
Oh, no.
Right? And you're trying to do all these things. You're trying to eat healthy. Drink more water. And then they don't have water in the shops, only cool drink. It's like the universe against you, right?
Yeah.
And in the spiritual, it's just the same thing.
Sure,
this is the year where we're going to read our Bibles every day. Sure. This is it. This is the year where I'm going to go to church every Sunday. This is the year where I start a life group. This is the year where I'm serving. And then we're in September. You're like, next year. Next year is the year. This year was crazy, but next year is the year. It's so true for us that what became something that we were passionate about can become something that we're very passive about. Speak to anybody that has been married for longer than 5 years. You're like, we will never. And now we are never. We are doing the never. The one never. Remember, we were like, we will never stop dating.
Always date your spouse.
Yes, those people. They don't know. They don't love each other like we do. And we're like,
we need to go on a date now, just by the way.
When was the last time we went on a date? And we're like, I think Domi was 2.
Okay, that's a bit extreme.
It hasn't been that long. I'm making a point. I'm being
but
like
our
Jesus.
passion goes to passivity. Good point.
That's it. William Booth, which is the founder of Salvation Army, has this quote. It is the nature of fire to go out. So you must keep it stir, fed, and the ashes removed. Isn't it so true when you do any kind of fire, brine, or just a bonfire, that it doesn't just maintain itself forever and ever, but you have to keep it going.
So what we build, we must protect. Everything we build needs protection. How do we protect what we build? What does that actually look like? In Nehemiah 13, he actually gives us a roadmap of sorts. He reminds us to return to the ways before. In fact, chapter 13 is called Nehemiah's final reform. His final reform, saying, guys, come on, we got to get this right again. There are actually 3 key areas that we identified in this passage. Number 1, I'm going to give you all 3 and we're going to preach on it. Number 1, influence. Number 2, increased awareness. You can call that accountability. And number 3, initiative. So number 1, everybody say influence. Nehemiah 13 verse 4. Before this, Eliashib, the priest, had been put in charge of the storerooms of the house of our God. He was closely associated with Tobiah. Nehemiah tells us that Eliashib, I really struggle with this guy's name. Do you want to give it a go?
No,
Eliashib, the priest, had been put in charge. Let's just say the priest from now on.
Yes, that sounds
Nehemiah tells us that this priest had been put in charge of storerooms, and now he had actually become associated with Tobiah. Now, I don't know if you remember Tobiah. Remember back when we spoke about Sanballat and Tobiah? Tobiah was against the work of God happening here. Yeah. Tobiah was against Nehemiah rebuilding the walls. Him and Sanballat were not happy that Nehemiah was doing this work. It's like you and I saying, hey, enemy, here's the keys to my house. Why don't you sleep in the master bedroom tonight? That's what this priest was saying. Tobiah, come have a place in the storeroom, in the temple of God. Come and live here with us. It's crazy. Whatever we build, we must protect.
And again, it is easier for us to see that story and be like, oh, come on, how can you not get it right? You know, when you read a book and you're like, really, seriously, did you not just read what happened in chapter 1? But how many of us, if we have to flip that script into our life, can actually realize that sometimes we allow things in our houses, we allow things in our lives, we allow things in our marriage. They were the very thing that was against us at the beginning. It is critical for us to just check our own heart and our own life and ask ourselves, what are we allowed into the spaces that are meant to be holy? Spaces of unity and community. What are we allowing in? What influence are we allowing that leaves us unprotected? What you allow will shape you. Influences matters. And Nehemiah knew that, so he was trying to protect the ball, and for that he needed to be ruthless about the influence that he moved out of the house of God.
So we have to protect. I felt like we were preaching together, but they're not preaching with us.
Okay, let's just preach to me and I'll preach to you.
We have to protect
the bull.
What we build.
Yes.
We have to protect what we build, because what we build matters. What we're building in this church, what we're building in our marriages, what we're building in our families, what we're building in society, it all matters. And it needs protection. Pastor Stella, give them some examples of what they need to protect.
So one of the examples that it comes to mind is our own natural body. Our own natural body has been created to fight sickness, fight virus. You know, that's why they put injections on us in vaccine. It's like a little amount of a virus trying to make our bodies aware so they can actually fight that virus. Yeah. Right? Anybody has, yes?
Anybody ever forget to do that for their 7-year-old that still needs to go and they're 9?
Okay, let me put a reminder quickly while you go and talk about it. So our bodies are created, maybe in the spiritual, our bodies are created to fight that too. But we need to recognize that influence is in our life. Sure. We can't just not be aware of it. Recognize the influence that is in your life and allow the body to fight that.
Yeah. In order to protect what we build, we also need increased awareness. Everybody say increased awareness. In other words, accountability. Nehemiah 13 verse 6, he says, here I learned, this is Nehemiah, here I learned about the evil thing that Eliashib had done in providing Tobiah a room in the courts of the house of God. Another version says, it grieved him. It grieved him because it reflected so badly that this priest, the leader, spiritual leader that was assigned to this job, allowed someone and something to come into the temple of God that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. It showed us that he was blind to an area that was happening around him, and no one had the guts to speak up. Because we have to protect what we build. See, the problem wasn't just that Tobiah was in the temple. It's fine. Tobiah's in the temple. He's doing his thing. It wasn't fine, but he's there. Okay, fine. But there's another issue that arises. No one else said anything about it. No one went to the spiritual leader and said, I don't know if this is a good idea. I remember when Nehemiah was here 10 years ago and we committed to something powerful. Now we've allowed him who opposed God's work to come into this place. No one spoke up. No one kept him accountable. Why do you think as churches we keep leadership where we have accountability, but we're stopping there? As Christians, we too need increased awareness. What are the influences in my life? What's happening around me? Who's coming to speak in my life that shouldn't be there? Who am I allowing into my relationship that's speaking against me? What boundaries have I let down when I should be putting them up? Many of us are in a place where we're going, hey, no one's speaking up. We need accountability. We need increased awareness. So the danger wasn't just that Tobiah's there. The danger was that the community stayed silent. Perhaps if we're building unity and community, we need to remind ourselves that silence sometimes is not a good thing. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid conflict. No, sometimes as leaders, and we're all leaders because we're saying that we love God, love people, and lead our world. Sometimes as leaders, we actually have to speak up. Sometimes we actually have to use our voice. Sometimes we have to keep people accountable. Sometimes we need to speak into a conflict that's obvious for everybody. The best leadership thing you can do is to speak up. To say, hey, I don't like what's happening here. Yeah. They were in a dangerous place. When we lose awareness and surround ourselves with silence, we allow compromise to settle in unnoticed. Yeah. See, I believe very firmly, and we were speaking about this before the service when we were in the guest lounge, we believe very firmly that, hey, maybe this happened over time. They didn't just go, oh, Nehemiah left, woo, let's go back to our old ways. Yeah. This happened over time, 10 years later. See, often when you backslide, when you go back to the old way of living, the old way of doing things against the promises, because you haven't increased your awareness, you look back 5 years from now and go, how did I get here? How did I get to this? How did our marriage get to this point? How did our family relationship get to this point? Because we weren't aware. We need to increase our awareness. What we build, we must protect.
So once again, we want to encourage you to remember that just like with a fire, that you need to keep your eye on it, because if you leave just the fire going, when you come back, it will be finished. Mm-hmm. You need to keep vigilant. You have to be vigilant when it comes to the influence that you have in your life. With what are you allowing in? And that time, sometimes that means inviting in accountability. And can I just say that that's not pretty? That's not comfortable. If you're trying to lose weight, the worst thing that you can have is a friend that is actually taking you seriously and pointing out how many chocolates you have eaten today, and then you may be stress eating, and then maybe instead of the Coke, you should grab the water. You know, those are the things that, like, it makes us uncomfortable. No one goes, thank you so much for making me feel like I was failing.
In fact, that happened to us this week. I was on Instagram, and I saw this thing about intermittent fasting, and maybe you want to lose weight, so you should try this out. She came into the kitchen going, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm checking out this app about losing weight. And she's like, why are you eating that? That's what happens.
Oh, I don't remember that. So protecting the ball requires constant vigilance and accountability. So who are you going to invite this week into speak into your life? Facebook, not a good space. Put it on your WhatsApp status. I would love for you guys to speak into my life. Not a good space, but find one friend, two friends that can actually hold you accountable, that their values align with your values, that they are out there to love you. Some of us think like, oh, that person is out to get me. Don't invite that person to be your accountable partner. Invite someone that really prays for you, believes in you, sees purpose in you, and say, hey, will you hold me accountable in this? Will you just check on me that I have read my Bible every day like I say that I was? That is not going to be a fun check-in. But in a year's time, you will appreciate that. We can't afford to live unaware. We need people in our life. We need spiritual habits. We need systems in place. They're going to keep us connected to what is really truth, what is really matter, what really is valuable. Wow. You can't just like have a kid and then just, where's your kid? I don't know. I saw him when he was born, and then, that was 5 years ago, I think. So it must be somewhere. No. You look after that you have been given. Pastor Jeãn spoke about being stewards. We need to be stewards. We need to be aware. And for that, we need someone to keep us accountable. If we want to protect the ball in our life, we need to invite accountability into us. Hey, will you be my spiritual check-in person? Wow. From Sunday to Sunday, from Monday to Monday. You know, Tuesday is like the hardest day of the week for someone. Then like have someone that is going to call you on Tuesday and answer the phone when they call you. I'm speaking to myself there. Normally they phone me when I'm either washing dishes or, I'm not going to say the other thing, but my hands are busy with dirty stuff.
Kids.
And I just can't answer. No, I just say I wasn't going to say it. Why are you going to paint that
doing
picture?
It on your behalf.
No, you need to be aware. You need to be accountable.
So again, what we build must be protected. You have to check what influences are coming into your spaces, into the holy spaces, the areas that you build in, the boundaries that you have to put up. We need to increase our awareness. And number 3, we need initiative. Initiative. Nehemiah 13, verse 8 to 9. Again, Nehemiah speaking. I was greatly displeased Yo, imagine that. Like, I feel like Nehemiah was the mentor in this story. He was like the man. Imagine for a moment someone that you have deep respect for coming into your life and going, I am greatly displeased. I'm displeased at what I see here. I was greatly displeased and threw all Tobiah's household goods out of the room. I gave orders to purify the rooms, and then I put back in them the equipment of the house of God with grain offerings and the incense. Here's the crazy thing. Nehemiah didn't wait for consensus. Hey, leadership team, what do you think we should do? Hey, friend, once you respond, because you don't ever answer your phone calls, so I'll wait for your WhatsApp even though you've blue ticked me, and 3 days down the line you remember to respond to me. What do you guys think should happen with Tobiah being in this room? No, he didn't ask for consensus. He took action. He took initiative. He stepped up in leadership. He cleansed the place. So not only did he chuck him out, he cleansed the place. He restored it to its original design. I don't know if you know this, but the enemy is against the original design. So when it comes to community and unity, that's an original design from heaven itself. That we were meant to live in unity. We were meant to live in community. We were meant to love one another. We were meant to be able to endure marriage even though it gets hard. We're meant to be able to persevere in hard times together. We're meant to be able to raise our kids in a way that honors God. And the enemy always comes and he goes, No. We need to cleanse the areas that were there in the first place. Clear the rooms. And this is what godly initiative looks like. I love this. So Nehemiah doesn't ask for consensus. He takes initiative, he takes action, and then sometimes he shows us that protecting the build means flipping tables. Because Jesus walked in at a point and he flipped tables because he didn't like what was going on here. See, Christians have become very soft. We're like, oh my goodness, I can't insult this person. They're in my life and I don't want them here, but hey, what am I going to do about it? No, he's like, get out. He literally, Nehemiah says, Tobiah's in the room. Can you just picture this for a moment? I did this the other day. I thought it was so funny. My son has an issue with cleaning his room. Right? So he's got his cupboard is full of, like when we say clean your room, he's got clothes on the floor. He picks it all up, puts it in his cupboard. So I said, Dommy, your room looks very clean. Nice, boy. This is great. Then I opened the cupboard. And I took initiative. I grabbed his clothes from inside and I chucked it all out. Fold it. Put it in your cupboard properly. But Dad, I'm tired. No. Fold it. Put it in your cupboard. Nehemiah had this approach. See, when there's influences in our lives that shouldn't be there, when we're increased our awareness to what's actually happening and the accountability that we need, we're actually will be able to go, hey, this doesn't look like it fits in my room. Chuck it, get out. He just took his stuff and threw him out like a tenant who doesn't pay rent. That's Nehemiah's approach. He took initiative. He grabbed that which shouldn't be there by the horns and chucked it out. The wrong voices, get out. The wrong influences, get out. The things that aren't building my marriage, get out. The words that aren't building my marriage, get out. The things that I need to protect a bit, come on, you're inside. We got to throw out that which should no longer be there. I think we've become too accepting of things that are breaking unity and community. But if we're going to build it, we need to take some action, some initiative to say, I don't like what I'm seeing here, so I'm going to chuck it out. I don't know if you've ever noticed when you leave a black bag in a dustbin for too long. We need to protect the build. Chuck it out. Tobiah wasn't in a good place to be at. He wasn't allowed here. Nehemiah took initiative. He restored a sacred space. If I want to protect my marriage, I need to watch what's coming in. But I also need to throw it out, the things that aren't. Look into your eyes. Okay, it's your turn to preach.
Thanks.
Got excited there.
Yeah. I'm gonna go and sit down, and then you
down.
can just call me when you are ready. So many of us are waiting for someone else to come and do that. You know, Dommy thought my mother is gonna walk in and fix this because normally his mother does. But mother needed to teach a lesson, and mother left the clothes for 2 days. So that's my approach now. I'm gonna leave it there until either you trip over and fall, or I lose my mind and shout. So he did it. He ended up cleaning up because no one came to do it for him. He had to. So many of us are waiting. If it's just someone, if it's that one politician, we're all waiting for that one political party that will be the honest party, will not steal, will do what they say, will fix our, and just miraculously South Africa will be what it's meant to be. We're all waiting for that one church, for that one Mother Teresa, for another Nelson Mandela to be raised. We're all waiting for someone else to fix this. But what if it was up to us? What if God placed you in your family, in that marriage, in your job, for you to be the one bringing you like, oh, it's terrible, isn't it? To be the ones that love Jesus in that place. To be the ones that say yes to him. Yes, God, I'm going to go and love God, love people, and lead the world. Just not at my job. At church is much easier. Whatever we build, we must protect. But we need to make sure that we're not just waiting for someone else. Protection starts with taking personal responsibility. It is my marriage. Therefore, I will do it. It is my house. It is my kids. They are my kids. So I get to say which influence they're under. Whether they like it or not, that's a completely different subject. But I'm going to have influence over them. Even in our own life, we need to take responsibility. We are one of the generations that is most addictive to devices, right? Who is putting the gun in our heads? I'm often like, I just wasted half an hour. So what I do now is I log off my apps. I still go into them and then I remember, oh yeah, there was a reason why I logged off because I didn't want to waste time on this. It takes me at least 5 seconds extra and then I can put it down again. Don't grab your phone. I said my husband lost his, well, he didn't lose it. Someone lost it. The charger. Can I just say?
We don't want to have that debate now.
No, but if I'm going to pack the house.
The whole house.
The whole house, because we were moving and you had no input on it. There was one cable that went missing. Like seriously, that was what?
My watch charging cable.
And the biggest scale of, and I think God used it.
He did
because God
for 2 weeks until
everything.
Take-A-Lot came along.
So for 2 weeks he has no watch, which meant that when I was having a conversation with him, he wasn't doing this.
Sorry, baby, I'll take it off.
Right? And if he was having a conversation or quiet time, he didn't hear his phone, and then, okay, amen to that. Right?
So she actually,
I
see what you did here.
I did
just
nothing.
I just had a revelation.
No.
You took responsibility on my behalf.
No.
And got rid of the cable.
No, I think God was like, if you're not going to take responsibility, I'm taking that cable.
I see how it is. It's fine.
I don't know. That's my version. You stick to your version.
Protection starts with personal responsibility.
Can I just
keep
personal
keep
responsibility. You just spoke about that.
That's right.
And I often find myself having this conversation with God. I'm like, God, it's my own life. If I'm stressing about something, then I'm the one that has to put the boundaries. What am I waiting for? An angel to come and be like, oh, switch your phone off. Don't go into the bank app. If you want something not distracted, if you don't want to eat unhealthy, don't buy the healthy stuff and put it on your cover and then walk past it and be like, oh, this is such a temptation. Remove the temptation. Don't bring the temptation in. Sometimes we're like kids.
Yep.
Like, oh, but that was like there. And you could just say no. Smack your own hand.
Have you ever had cheese puffs, flings? I mean,
no, we're not speaking
you
about
can't walk past that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can. You can so easily and wave at it. I'll throw that out for you. Whatever we build, we must protect.
Yes, whatever we build, we must protect. This tells us one thing that I've realized in this whole thing of taking initiative. The enemy attacks, or is prone to attack, that which you've already promised God. These people in chapter 10 write a whole document, 84 leaders and the rest, signing a document to say, hey, we're no longer going to let our daughters and sons marry these kind of people. We're no longer going to let this happen. Our business etiquette, the way we run things and when we sell things and how we sell things, that's going to change. They wrote this document, signed it together. They promised to God, and the enemy comes and attacks that one thing, 4 things actually, that they promised to God. I wonder if we've made promises. God, I promise, as Pastor Stella said, I'll read my Bible more. And then 2 weeks later, your streak is on 0 again because we're going back to old ways. My question this morning on those topics that we preached on last week. How are our relationships doing? Because we need to protect what we build. How are our relationships doing? Are they drawing us closer to God or dragging us away? How are we honoring God with the Sabbath? Not just in terms of how we rest, but what we place as priorities in our lives. If we look at our priorities right now, is it the best that it can be? Have our business practices, our hustle, our bustle, our work lifestyle, our balance in work, has it eroded our spiritual foundation in what we want to stand on? What about our giving? Have we gone from being generous people to being convenient people? Comfortable people? What changes have we wanted to see in our lives, but yet if we look back, we started slipping into the old pattern of how we used to live. The Bible tells me that the old is gone, the new has come. I don't want to keep stepping into the old. I want to step into the new that God has for my marriage, the new that God has for my family, the new that God has for this church, the new that God has for me spiritually. I don't want to keep going back to the old ways. I want to step into the new that He has for me. And in order to do that, I need to check the influences. I need to increase my awareness. I need to take some initiative. And again, all of these are signs of whether we're building and protecting, or if we're allowing things to just come and steal, kill, and destroy.
So in order for us to build and to protect what we have built, we need strong leadership. You need to tap yourself on the shoulder and be like, it's me. I'm the one that is going to need to do the putting the boundaries down. I'm the one that is going to have to go and declutter. I'm the one that I'm in charge of all the thoughts. There's a saying that says, thoughts can come and they can be like birds, but you don't have to let them make nest in your head. And I'm a very thinking person. So when I look again, it's been 10 minutes that I stress about 10 different scenarios. None of them happen, but at least I'm mentally prepared for that level of stress if one of them ever happens in my life. And I'm like, and then I have to go back to the Word of God. We need to be strong leaders. We need to be focused leaders. You need to remind yourself of what you were meant to be on, the path that you chose. What were your goals for this year? What were you trying to aim? And again, we're not going for perfection. We're going for progress. So we need to be people who take actions. We need to be the leaders. Don't wait for someone to come and label you, oh, you're a leader. You are the prayer leader. You become the prayer leader in your house. You become the prayer leader in your, but I'm waiting for my husband to be the one. You do it. You nag the family to have quiet time, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who started. What matters is that is happening. Protect the ball in church. What we do here matters. And it doesn't matter because we're having a new building. It doesn't matter because we're having better screen. It matters because reality is we live for eternity. And eternity is all we're going to have. So when we get to eternity, we don't get a redo or like, oh, sorry, I forgot to preach to my boss and I would like, no. You have to protect what we're building in the church. You have to protect what you're building in your marriage, in your home. What we build in our home needs to be a replica of what God has intended for us. Not two disconnected people, not just two different people going for their own individual goals. We need to protect our marriage. And if we go back to what we are for, if the Word of God is our foundation as a family, that's what we are agreeing on, then it doesn't really matter what it looks like at the end, because we know that the boundaries are set by God. You need to protect your home. Protect the influence of what your kids are watching or what they're talking about. Be in their space. I know that at some point they don't like it. Who cares? Take the door if they're going to close the door. We told our kids that. They wanted to close the door and have a moment. I was like, you will have a moment when you have your own house and you pay for it. You want to have a moment, go to the garden. You're not going to just lock yourself in your room and go and sulk about like nothing. I'm going to be in your space because I want to know what you are doing when you're angry. I want to know what you are telling yourself when you are down. And I will be in that space reminding you what you're talking is nonsense. So let's protect our home. Let's protect our marriage. Let's protect our own spiritual journey. We were bought at such a high price. God has a purpose, and this isn't a cliche. God has a purpose. It's a reason why you're still breathing. Don't you want to find that out now and know when you're in your dead bed? I wonder if I reach my potential. Too late to wonder. Now, today. And this isn't an age thing. Oh, I'm 18 and I have my whole life. You are 40, you have your whole life ahead of you. You are 60, you have your whole life ahead of you. Because if God wants you there, He would have taken you already. You are here, you are breathing. Protect the purpose that God has placed in your life, because the enemy comes against you. And one of the things when we were praying in the room, we were thinking, I said to my husband, you know how clever is the enemy? He doesn't come and attack you first. He first makes you tired. Have you noticed that when you are tired, your defense are low, your way of processing is low? You don't go like, oh, let me just pray about this. You're tired. Like, my kids win so many arguments over when I'm tired. They come and nag at 8 o'clock in the morning. Can I be in the tablet? No. 12 o'clock, can I be in the tablet? No. 4 o'clock, can I be in the tablet? No. Maybe it will be helpful, but no. 8 o'clock, and I'm like, you know what? They say, well, just go, have the tablet, enjoy it until 12 o'clock, and if tomorrow you're tired, that's your problem. Which is not. It will be my problem. But that's how the enemy comes. He comes and knocks and make you tired. And at some point when you are tired, you stop protecting what matters. Protect the bold.
Protect the bold. In closing, William Booth, want to remind you, it's the nature of fire to go out. It's the nature of fire to go out. If you're in a season where you're like, God, my fire is out, whether that's in marriage, relationships, friendships, family, spiritually going, God, my fire is out, it's the nature. But you don't have to accept it. Identify it. Notice that it's there. The fire has gone out. But come on, can we protect the build? You can't assume that passion will stay. You have to feed it. You have to stir it. You have to remove old ashes. You have to feed it. You have to stir it. You have to remove old ashes. This is so boring. I have to feed it. I have to stir it. I have to remove old ashes. Every time I braai, the worst part is cleaning the braai. But in order to make a great braai again, I have to feed it. I have to stir it. I have to remove the ashes. If you feel like you've lost passion today, in whatever area that is, you haven't protected the build that God has given you, something of substance and amazing, just an amazing build. God, today I want to put fire again. I want to feed this fire. Maybe it's going on a date with your wife. You want to go on a date? Okay. Anybody want to look after my kids? No, David, you can't.
It's a no from me.
That's 2 no's, you're out. See, protecting the build is an ongoing commitment. It's a long-term investment. It's something we do over and over and over again, but it's a worthy one. Because what you build matters. Your faith matters. Your marriage matters. Your church, hopefully, matters.